Just a quick update on this radio that I showed the other day. I got from eBay. So as you can see, I put a original meter in there. So the light, it had some hokey LED thing that somebody put in. It had two LEDs, but I only saw one that worked. The other one must have went out or something. But the way they had it wired was just crazy. There was exposed wires and stuff like that on the inside. I'm surprised the radio didn't short circuit itself. But when I took the front bezel off of it, they had the one LED here and one here like glued to the bezel on the inside. It was kind of stupid how they did it, but I mean, these radios look great with just a standard light bulb, you know, especially in the dark. And if you want to style it up or something, get yourself a little insert, a little different color or something, or you know, you can do that. Some guys like LEDs. I'm not real partial to them. I don't mind them if they look good and it's a full like whited, but I like the warm glow of that. Something about these radios. I'd love this radio again if it had a black face with black knobs and a black bezel. The chrome, I understand it's nostalgic for CB radio and stuff in the USA, but you know, black would be awesome with these. I could put the chrome knobs on it, I think, from the DX5000, and it would look good with those. Even it would style it up some. A couple of people asked me if I wanted to sell this. I got a customer down in Ohio that he's interested, I think, in it. So if I did decide to, he would be probably the first guy I would go to, but I don't think I really want to at this point. I put a good amount of time into it and stuff, and you know, I appreciate these radios for what they are. I don't really need stuff that's real flashy and fancy. These are just good working radios, and I've never actually used one of these, although it's basically the same radio as the Grand XL, except for this dynamic squelch with it, which I think is an attempt to do like an automatic squelch. That's what I think it does for Aeon. Most likely what I'll do is end up putting this in my car, and we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. But the only thing I did to it is factory align it, and then I unlocked the clarifier. So I set the bias on it. It was way out of whack. So that's one thing on these older radios. If you get one like this chassis with a MB8719 in it, check the bias on it, because a lot of times they're cranked way up. I set it for 25 milliamps on the driver and I think 50 on the final, which probably is a little lower than what they say, but it's better than being too high. And this does about 12 to 14 watts sideband peak and about, I set it for 2 watts AM dead key, and it swings about 8 to 10, which is about right where it should be. So it's pretty cool anyways. There was really no big modifications or anything done to this one, which was nice. No channels, any of that stuff. So the mic's not plugged in, so we won't hear the speaker, but the high-low works as it should. Obviously that works as it should. This is factory and this is factory, so it's just a nice basic factory CB. In the grand scheme of things, in 2025, this is a very basic radio, and most people wouldn't probably appreciate it as much as maybe I do. But that's just, you know, it's something that if I had this radio 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I probably wouldn't even have appreciated it as much then as I do now. Just based on where we've gone with radios and stuff, we got some really good ones on the market, but you know, these are still really useful. And if you have these, get them out and use them. If they're just sitting and not being used, that's actually, you know, worse for them. Get them out and use them once in a while. And don't be afraid to go in there and look up the alignment information and try to do some stuff for yourself on these, because you can do it, you know. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it, and that's the God's honest truth there, you know. What I use for this radio in a lot of cases is the Cobra 2000 GTL. Now there are a few differences, but most of the alignment data is exactly the same. The board is almost entirely the same, so there's a lot of useful free information on the internet for like a radio like the XL version of this. So don't be discouraged. You know, having test equipment is nice, but the main thing I would say for anybody, if you can do it, get yourself a 10 megahertz GPS reference, and then get yourself, let me show it. Get yourself like a spectrum analyzer. It doesn't have to be something super expensive, but don't get one of those really cheap ones either, for aligning radios, because I mean, it's honestly, you can use that as a frequency counter too. And get some of these. I call these antennas because that's basically what they are. They just screw into coax with a SMA, and then this screws into your spectrum analyzer, and this becomes an RF probe basically. And when you're checking those IF frequencies, this is invaluable for doing that. You can literally just set this in the radio. Just obviously don't let this touch anything and short something out, but this is non-conductive. So when you're checking those IF frequencies, you can just kind of set it down in there, lean it in or whatever, and you will see, based on what setting on your spectrum analyzer you will definitely see signal. And then with a good 10 megahertz reference, what you're seeing is accurate. I mean, we're not talking like this is for the military or for like the commercial industry. This is a CB radio. We don't have to be so serious about it, but honestly, a good China-made GPS 10 megahertz reference is really about all you need for accuracy. Anything more than that is just, that's way beyond what we're doing here. So take it from me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff a lot of people can do for themselves if they just put their mind to it. But this is a cool radio. Aside from the guy, how he shipped it was a little questionable, but after I used it and stuff, I was able to straighten out the knob because I think it got banged in shipping. But now it's working pretty good, so I'm happy with it. And again, if I can do this kind of stuff for myself, anybody can do it. 73.